Peace. Welcome to our data science bootcamp. Our mission here is to equip our next generation to build the future of AI. I am your instructor. I am Money Mike Fo. In this video, I'm just going to give you guys an overview of what course one is all about. Okay. So in this bootcamp, we're actually going to be working with real Atlanta businesses and creators to use data science to solve real world problems. Okay. So course one is we're going to be building the funding management app, and it's going to be featuring the creator Zandra Solomon. Okay. So if you guys are tuned in to our summer, June 2025, starting, that's the app that we're going to be starting with. Okay. Just put in Z's name here. All right, so let me give you guys a breakdown of what to expect. So in this video, I am just going to introduce you guys to what's going to be covered in the video or in this course. All right, so in video one, I'm going to give you guys an introduction to the use case. So let me go over to the wireframe. So you guys will actually get just like a breakdown of the use case, introducing pretty much like how this got started in the first place, giving background about Zandra and her mission, what she wants to accomplish, and then how we will be using data science and then also full stack tools to solve problems for her. So that's going to be really fun. That's what we're going to cover in video one. In video two, we're going to go over the front end views in Canva. So what we've done, what you will actually go over what we're going to build. So by the end of this course, let me zoom in a bit. We'll go over in detail in that tutorial. But you guys will get a demonstration of what we'll be building by the end of this. So this is the Canva version. This is the fund management app. This is one of the views where users will come in to enter their information. Um, and then you'll have different views, like them being able to view their profile information and classifications. And then also the biggest draw to this, especially for my data science people, is going to be our dashboard views. So we're really going to dive deeply into business intelligence. We're going to have KPIs and business intelligence questions that we are answering in this study. So you guys will get a nice little rundown of that. All right, let me jump back into the breakdown. All right, so in video three, we're going to go over the KPIs and the dashboard. So I kind of already got ahead and was giving you guys a demonstration. So in video two, we'll focus just more so on the front end as far as like what the app is going to look like to the users. In the next video, which is very important, I tell my students this all the time. It's very important that you guys ground your projects in deriving actual insights. I know as a junior developer, I would get in trouble with creating what we call like data art where the dashboards don't actually solve a real problem. It's just, a pretty dashboard. It doesn't help stakeholders, but it should always tell a story. So in this video, we're gonna make sure that or in this tutorial, we're gonna make sure that we ground our project in real KPIs. So you guys will see a section here where we go over the KPIs. I also want to say this, if you're a business owner or you're doing any sort of business, you want to make sure that you establish from like the jump, like what your measurements are success with your client to make sure you guys are all on the same page. Just so that like I said, just to make sure you're in alignment, like, hey, these are the measurements that we're saying, like this is what success looks like. We're spelling this out explicitly. So we're going to go over the KPIs, each of the KPIs that we're going to be tracking and the dashboards that we're going to be tracking. So my data science people, this is definitely going to be a great opportunity for you guys. You'll get an opportunity to put a real project on your resume off jump. And like I said, this is for my real client. We'll really be building this. So we'll go over the visualization in Canva, and then we'll build this in Plotly, we'll build this in Tableau, and then also in Power BI. All right, moving right along. Okay, so in video number 4, we're gonna go over the ETL process. So if I scroll over here, I'm gonna go over. So this is more so for my full stack people, even though my data scientists, especially if you're a data engineer, you're definitely going to want to be a part of this conversation. So as you know, technology has evolved, we're able to store more information and store information in a lot of different formats. So we're presented with a whole new challenge of how do we, in a very efficient way, collect, store, transform, load this information into insight that we can use to help make better decisions, right? So we're gonna go over the entire ETL process. Sorry, the entire basically like the blueprint of how the app is gonna work. I'm just going to give you guys a sneak peek that we're definitely going to be using REST APIs in this scenario. I tell you guys about basically the mistakes that I made as a junior developer, not building with the REST API first. So we're gonna go over in great detail. Actually, yeah, my data science people, you guys are definitely gonna want to be a part of this conversation, because we're even gonna be talking about like data mapping and ingesting our data. So you guys are gonna need to understand like, how all the different views work, how the APIs work, because when you're doing your data transformation, you need to understand where you're getting the data from and where it's going, how it's going to feed into dashboards, etc. So you're really going to get hands-on experience solving a real problem with a real project. Okay, so should be really, really fun. Moving right along, what we have next. All right, so after we go through the ETL process, that's when we're gonna really go into developing. So in lesson 5, we're actually going to start our front end development. So we're going to be using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So my front end people, definitely going to be some great hands-on experience for you guys. So the dashboards that you guys see, so let's go back over here. So this wireframe, which again, I'm going to say this during your lesson, but I cannot stress this enough. If you are a developer watching this, if I could do this all over again, I would always wireframe first before I start coding out anything. Always wireframe out. Understand exactly what it is that you're trying to build. It will certainly help you later on, especially as you're like just, putting structure to your HTML and naming your classes and all that stuff. Like it just helps out. So either way, we would have already designed this out in Canva. So you guys would have already gone through that exercise of designing this in Canva. And then we're gonna take this and create in the HTML, CSS, JavaScript version. All right, so we're going to have phases of the JavaScript where at first it's just going to be calling dummy information. And then when we build out the REST API, is actually going to be pulling dynamically our models. But yeah, so each one of these views that we walk through in Canva, you guys will see that when we actually go through that in that video. Each one of the views that you see in Canva, we're actually going to build that out in HTML, CSS. All right, moving right along, let's go back into our lesson. Okay, cool. So after we have our front end development, that's when we're going to go into our back end models. So I'll give you guys a sneak peek. So I had a student once ask me, what's the difference between SQL and NoSQL, and when should you use them? And I told her there are use cases. Well, I had a instructor tell me SQL unless otherwise, unless you have a good reason. So this is a really great use case for NoSQL and SQL. I'll give you guys just a really quick snippet. Um, as a junior developer, I'll say like I spent the majority of my time as when I was working as a data analyst in the cleanup process. And more importantly, what would happen is we would try to get our data like squeaky clean and structured into like this very like optimized database design. And that part would take so long that we would never be able to have any like minimal viable product MVP to even like demonstrate the value to stakeholders. I say all of that to say, when you are trying to quickly represent data, um, in a non-structured way, like NoSQL is your go-to, and you guys are going to see how we'll be able to use both NoSQL and SQL to give like basically an optimized ETL process. So either way, we'll go into detail as far as like our models go. So we'll have a NoSQL, which we're going to do in Mongo, and then we're going to have a SQL, which we're going to do in MySQL. And I think we have, yeah, we're going to do all of this in the cloud. So you'll be able to get this link, follow along. So we'll have our structured version, our SQL version, and our non-structured version, our NoSQL version. So that should be fun. All right, moving on. Okay, so then in our video seven is where we're actually going to develop our REST API. So we're going to use FastAPI in this project. So you guys will go over this in more detail as to why you will always want the different applications talking to your API and not directly to your database. We'll go into more details about what that means and why that is during that exercise. Again, something that if I could talk to junior developer me, I would definitely tell him. All right. In video no, or in lesson number 8 is when we'll go into our backend admin views. So when I say a model view, for example, one of the things that we're going to be tracking in our dashboards is the volume of applications that we've applied for Zandra, right? And so participant fund application is one of our models. I'll just give you guys a little sneak peek of the back end. And essentially, if we didn't build these views for Zandra, the only view she would have to update or view her data would be like that of a database, which like you never want to do. And it would be very difficult for her to understand. So when we say like back end model views, so it's basically a way to like view things that we've modeled, like her grants, for example, or her profile information, for example, or her actual applications, for example. These are going to be the views that will allow her to go in and update, like view that information and then also update that information. So that's what I mean when I say that. Otherwise, like our actual database where the information is stored would be like her only option as far as like being able to access the information that we've stored for her. All right. We'll go into more detail during that lesson. Super excited. I am actually, like I said, like I come from back end. I had to learn front end. So I always get geeked for like those kind of lessons. All right. Moving right along. All right. And then where are we? Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so then we'll have our admin profile view. So unlike the model views where we're like looking at the grants and applications, the model views are going to be like her information. So you guys will see, I'll give you guys a preview down here where we're going to ingest all this different information about Zandra, and that's all going to boil down to these different classifications that she is going to get labeled. And then we'll have these funds that's in our database that also have like these eligibility, like the classification eligibility rules. And the whole point of our app is to easily match up our participants with funds that they're eligible for. So when she wants to update information about like, let's say like where she lives or what her occupation is, or you know what one of her identities are, those are like more so for those views. So that's what I mean when I say we're going to be building out those views. Okay, and then finally we have our admin dashboard views. So this is I would say, how do I say this? It is not valued enough just how powerful business intelligence dashboards are. So let me go over to our dashboards for a second. When you have so many different measurements going on and you have really busy stakeholders, for example, like Z is a full-time student. She also has her own business and she's going to be creating art. Like she doesn't have time for me to give her like this super duper long spiel about what's going on. Z needs to, in an instance, be able to just like go in here, look at the dashboards and like understand like here is how things are going. Your goal was for us to bring in $15,000 in funding. And right now we have this amount in funding. This percentage of the funding is coming from grants. This percentage of the funding is coming from scholarships. Um, Here are all the different applications. We've applied for, this amount of applications over the last 30 days, and this is how long it's taken us to, onboard you or apply for application. And this is our win rate, right? So, providing a visual that can communicate that information, is just a lot more effective than giving your stakeholders like a super duper lengthy, like wordy report, especially when they are extremely busy, which is always my experience, and you guys will get that. So the admin dashboard views are going to be where we actually build out now. So we'll have a version that is like Plotly, we'll have a version that's Tableau, we'll have a version that's Power BI. So we will take the what we built in Canva as like our little wireframes, and that's when we're actually going to create and like build these out and give our different admins their permissions. Like for example, our marketing department might only need to see dashboards related to marketing. Our sales department may only need to see dashboards related to that, etc. So making sure we have some type of admin, some type of user management, permissions management, etc. All right. I think let me go back and see if I missed anything. And then finally, in lesson number 11, we're gonna do a whole recap of like what we've done so far. At this point, guys, you guys will officially have a real project to put on your resume. It's from a real client. You would have had experience, like the full experience of being both on the data science side of things and on the full stack front end side of things as well. All right. So this is a really, really, really great course. I'm excited. This is a part of our data science bootcamp that's going to be premiering starting June 1st. And our first course is going to be us actually building out this funding management app. And again, this is going to be featuring Zandra Solomon. We are actually in real life helping her to get funding for her mission or for her art residency that she's doing in Mexico, where she will be taking the stories of veterans and like actually like telling those stories through art. All right. And our goal is to help Z secure the proper funding so that she can make that trip. That is what this app is assisting them in doing. And that's what we're going to be building in course number one. All right. So make sure you guys go ahead and enroll right now while it has this reduced price. Once we hit our 45 class cap, then it's going to go back up to our regular price, which is around, I think it's around like $8.99 per month. So go ahead, jump on this ASAP. Before we hit our 45 class cap, you guys will see a link in the description on how to enroll. All right. So I will see you guys in this course. All right. Again, I am Money Mike 404. And yeah, we are on a mission to equip the next generation to build the future of AI. All right. I will see you guys in this boot camp. Make sure you guys tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Peace.